Good afternoon. My name is Nicole LaChapelle, and I'm the mayor of Easthampton. This is my weekly update. The first thing I want to speak about actually happened last week. It was our 5th annual Cultural Chaos Street Festival that celebrates our Cottage Street Cultural District that was formed in 2013. We saw record numbers, and not only attendees, but also vendors, music, food, and just general fun for the whole family. I'd love to say thank you to Easthampton City Arts, Riverside Industries, our public safety departments, both police and fire, as well as the hundreds of volunteers and sponsors that made this cultural chaos such a great success. And today is Flag Day. Happy Flag Day to our wonderful Stars and Stripes. Tonight at 6 p.m., I'll be going to the American Legion to participate in their Flag Day ceremony. I encourage folks to check out what the Legion is doing for our community and our veterans. It's a robust series of programs throughout the year. I'm really looking forward to tonight. After Flag Day ceremonies, I'll be going to Whitebrook Middle School for the awards night. It's a wonderful event, and I again encourage members of the community to take a look at our website and what our schools are doing for our students, for our communities, and the wonderful educators that are employed by our school district. Today, joining me is our city planner, Jeff Bagg. We just received another grant due to the planning department's efforts in conjunction with our public safety departments. This grant comes under the title of Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program for fiscal year 18. Jeff, can you just give us a little overview about what this grant's going to bring to our city?
Sure. So what we are trying to do with the MVP grant is build off of the 2016 Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Okay.
And this grant will give us $28,000 to primarily work with the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to host a series of community meetings around climate change and the potential impacts that could have in the city. And once we complete the workshop, we'll come up with a list of strategies and goals and objectives. And with that, we will become MVP designated by the state, and it'll open us up to another round of grants to actually construct projects.
Okay, all right. First, let's be clear. Easthampton is MVP already. Getting this grant saying we'll be an MVP community is just a plus. Jeff, would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And I think it's good because so while this will require us to do some community workshops, the second round of grants is an opportunity for up to $400,000 to actually fund and implement actual projects. So it takes a little bit of effort to organize community meetings, and we'll work with PVPC. But at the end of this, we'll be eligible to apply for bigger projects and actually get work done.
And I know our fire department does a lot of this groundwork, and they are included in this process?
Yes.
And give us an example of what one of those big projects might be if we can get $400,000.
Well, I think that the fire department has raised concerns. There's a variety of concerns. So one of them, as an example, is flooding, and so there's a variety of different responses that we would have to a significant rainstorm. So some of those projects would be really significant in terms of cost, but what the fire department has talked about is responsiveness, and then there are a couple areas where we have dams that are controlled by the city, and so those often need upgrading. And so part of this will evaluate those and create a list, a priority list for those projects.
As an MVP awardee, both Jeff and I are now going to attend a roundtable discussion around projects that can help our community become safer when faced with a climate change related disaster. We will be meeting with Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito and Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs Matthew Beaton down in Holyoke. But before we go to the roundtable, I'd like to ask Jeff a very important question. One, when you eat bananas for breakfast, do you like them ripe or overripe? Preference?
Just ripe.
Okay.
Not overripe.
And second question, what are the top 3 things that you would list as your favorite since you've become planner of the city of Easthampton?
Thanks. That's a great question. So I was working formerly in Worcester, so at a superficial level, one of the best things is I am now living and working in the same town. So this is the place where I grew up.
Yep.
And it's a pleasure to have a 2-minute commute versus a 2-hour commute.
Hear that.
But for all seriousness, I think the top 3 things so far has been working on the budget. So through this budget process, we were able to secure 98% of the funding for the arts coordinator.
Yeah,
in
that
the
was
general
wonderful.
fund.
Nice
So
work.
that's a really big accomplishment. I think there's
Yeah.
been years of work on that, but we're finally made that official. The second thing is working diligently on aligning the city of Easthampton's goals with state initiatives. So we've been doing that together, and we're being really successful at that.
Yes.
And a good example of that, my third thing, is the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs released a planning grants opportunity
Right.
sometime around April. And what we started to look at was possibilities of doing some visioning around the downtown.
Yeah.
So primarily thinking about Cottage Street and Union Street. As some may know, Union Street's going to be reconstructed in 2021, so there's an opportunity to start talking about what people might want to see on Union Street in the future. And then what started to happen was the momentum around the school vote started to take shape. And coincidentally, the grant deadline was May 23rd, so it was the day after our vote.
Yeah.
And so a couple of weeks before the deadline, I started to prepare two versions of this grant. One included the opportunity to have public meetings around the schools.
Yeah.
So both Maple Street and Center Pepin are in the core of our downtown areas on Cottage and Union. So there was a version A, which would have been successful vote for the override, and we could then get this funding to help start having community discussions about those 2 schools. Version B was if it didn't pass, and so I finished it up the day after the vote, and I drove to Boston and we submitted the version A. So it's a significant planning grant. It's almost $70,000 that would allow us to work with a consultant who would come and facilitate meetings, sketch drawings, and help look at some of the things on Cottage Street, our parking, the types of uses that we have. So we would hopefully, when we're awarded this grant, we'll be able to start a nice downtown visioning discussion. So that's definitely one of my top goals. We hope to hear about that award at the end of July.
Okay.
So I'm hoping to bring back more good news on that front.
Fantastic. Then you'll have to come back.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, and have a great week.